Hi, hello, good afternoon, or whatever time of day if you're watching this back. I'm Stella at Soul Space Unlimited, and I am a therapist. I'm a hypnotherapist and EFT emotional freedom technique practitioner, a Qigong instructor. You might have experienced some of my sessions before with the Royal Voluntary Service Virtual Village Hall, but this might be your first time, so welcome. And it's lovely to be here with you today and to share a session all about World Sleep Day. So, today is World Sleep Day, Friday, the 17th of March. And it's all about exploring our relationship with sleep, how to sleep better. So, the theme this year is sleep is essential for health. And I couldn't agree more. And I'm sure you're here because you agree too. Perhaps you want your sleep, your relationship with sleep to improve. Perhaps you have some mild issues with sleep, or you might really struggle with some big issues like insomnia that affect your life more. Sleep is something that obviously we all have a special relationship with, and it affects everybody in different ways. So I'm going to share a little bit about my own journey with sleep and how I've developed a sleep routine that's really helped me. I've struggled with sleep over the years. In the past, particularly as a teenager, I had insomnia, and I still get that occasionally. And we're going to share some sleep tips, so some like sleep hygiene, good ideas that you can reflect on, and hopefully will help you develop some ideas and tools about how you can improve your sleep. And the bulk of the session is going to be EFT. So that emotional freedom technique I mentioned, it's a tapping technique. If you're new to it, it's all about supporting the system, the meridian system in the body to clear blocks. So we tap on points around the body while saying things, and it's about acknowledging the body, ourselves, our emotions, where they are. So we acknowledge those difficulties, the frustration, the worry about not being able to sleep, for example. And then we bring in some acceptance, some sort of more peace around it. So it's that acknowledging what's there, and then that acceptance and releasing that a bit, because we know if we're feeling tense and frustrated, which we can't help but feel when we can't sleep, right? You're like, oh, why can't I sleep? It's only going to create resistance and prevent us from relaxing and getting a good night. So I'll share some tapping around that, and that's something that you can take away with you. So you can remember one of the tapping points, and before you go to sleep, or perhaps if you wake up in the night, you can use that tapping point. It will support you. So that's what we're going to do today. And I would invite you to begin just in your head, or if you've got pen and paper near you, to think about what your relationship with sleep is. So it might sound like a silly question, and initially we might think, well, I go to sleep or I don't sleep very well, whatever it is. But actually, what comes to your mind when I say, what is your relationship with sleep? If you think about going to sleep later this evening, you might be a night owl, you might sleep very late, very early in the morning, you might sleep during the day, but whatever your relationship is, just notice what comes up for you. You might notice some feelings in the body. For example, for somebody who struggles with sleep, you might feel some anxiety in your body. Notice that. Notice where it sits, what it feels like. You might not feel anything, and that's fine too. We're just getting curious. So you might find something comes to you later after this session about your relationship with sleep. Just jot it down, be curious and aware. It's nice to open up that questioning around your relationship with sleep, because becoming aware of it helps you to notice it and to improve it. Okay. So I don't know if you've heard the term before, but it's used quite a lot, sleep hygiene. So what does that mean? What does it mean to have good sleep hygiene? Well, my understanding, my interpretation of that is it's about looking at the way that we can support ourselves as much as possible to relax into our bed, to relax into our dreams, make sure that that's happening. And it's about acknowledging the barriers, becoming aware of the barriers that prevent that, and bringing in more habits, more patterns that are going to really help us to unwind and relax in the evening. So again, you can note down or think in your head, but becoming aware of some of those blocks and barriers that might be preventing you. For example, is it that you are just feeling stressed? You might be feeling anxious and stressed, and you're aware that's holding you back. Is it that maybe you're an avid coffee drinker and you're drinking lots of caffeine, and perhaps that is filling your system and wiring you? It could be that you have a stressful home life, acknowledging the environment. What does your bedroom look like? What's your house like? Can you relax at home? Can you switch off from work? All of these things, acknowledging those barriers. Technology, phone. We know phones can be a big barrier. So just become aware of those things, list them in your mind, note them down. Some of them, some new ones might come through as I talk a bit about, I think, some good sleep hygiene, some good habits. And one of the main things, actually, maybe one of the most important things, I think, is, is the fact that something that quite often we don't consider or realise, and it was definitely a turning point for me when I became more aware of this. Our sleep routine doesn't just start, when we go to bed. And if we treat our everyday life like we're going, we're doing, and then we think when we turn off the lights, we get into bed, that should be it. That will just go to sleep naturally and easily, and then we're confused when we don't. That might not resonate with you, but perhaps it does. There is something going amiss there, and the reason is we need to invite slowing down, more peacefulness, more of that preparation for our whole day. So our sleep routine, the things we do that support us to sleep better, start much earlier than often we realise. So some tips, some things that have really helped me, and I hope will help you, are I don't have very much caffeine at all, if any, but I certainly don't have caffeine after like 3 or 4 o'clock, because that's just, I know that's going to prevent me from getting to sleep. Acknowledging that we're all different and it might not be an issue for you, but just considering it, being aware of it. If you find that you are stressed during the day, if your mind is going, creating space where you can relax and unwind, little pockets of relaxation. It could be going for a walk in nature, getting away from work or just stress, the computer screen. Also making sure that you give yourself that time, and it might be could be meditation, it could be a hypnosis session. That's what I tend to do, but it doesn't have to be that. I know meditation can feel a bit for some of us, which is completely fine, but it is about realizing the more you relax and enter a healing, relaxed state during the day, the easier it will be later. It's like you're programming your body. You're already in that more relaxed, susceptible state. So when it comes to sleep, your body's going to be more familiar instead of wondering, oh, what's this? So that's useful to keep in mind. Reducing the lights as much as possible in the evening. So I don't know if you've come across blue block glasses before, but I use these in the evening. I wear them actually during the day when I'm at the computer screen. And I also tend to use them in the evening. After a certain time, I'll try and dim the lights. I'll wear my blue blocks, particularly if I'm looking at my phone, because that helps you stop being overstimulated. There's evidence, research has shown that the blue light in some of this screener technology we're using is overstimulating our brain. It affects and it kind of wires us too much. So it's helpful to have those mechanisms in place. These weren't very expensive. Well, I got them a few years ago and they've lasted well, but I think they were about £20, but you can get different kinds, different levels. A sleepy tea in the evening. Can you have a chamomile tea? Or valerian root is really good. You can get valerian root tea that is quite a strong taste, but it is very good and helpful. So I recommend that. And phone, we've mentioned it, but phones are built for us to be addicted to them, so it's really not always easy. But I have a rule that I put my phone on airplane mode in the evening, and sometimes I do better on other nights than this, but I try not to look. I create that sort of phone-free zone, and if your bedroom can be a phone-free zone, amazing. I think that really helps. Can it wait? So if there's something going on in your life, and in your home, your family life, if you live with other people, sometimes you have to have boundaries and say, in the evening, if somebody else starts to open a conversation, it might just not be the right time for you to discuss that. So you might just say really kindly, I understand this is important to you, but can it wait until tomorrow because it might affect my sleep? Sometimes we don't feel we can say that. It's not always easy, but just being aware of those boundaries. Is it the right time to address something? If you know that it might affect your sleep, just consider that. And some other things that I found really useful is going up to bed mostly the same time every night, creating that routine. I have a light that is nice and relaxing. It's designed, to help people relax. It's sort of a ready hue light, and it has the sounds of waves. So I've been using that for years, and when my ears now hear the sound of waves, it kind of hypnotizes me into a relaxed state. So if you have something you do every evening, that routine, whether it includes sounds or this kind of light, I think that's a really good way to set up your system to get into that rhythm. So even if you are stressed, you have a pattern in place, so it will help you to relax and unwind. Also, I will do some journaling. I really encourage my clients to do this. In the evening, you can journal out some of the things that might be going around your head and worrying you about the day. Journal a bit of that, get it out, and then, but don't end with that. Then I would say journal around some of the things that you feel went well in your day, some things you might be proud of, some things that feel good, and put the journal book down. And then you might like to read a book. Reading a book, if that feels good for you, something that you can switch off, where you don't need to overly engage. I think that could be really nice too. Listening to a relaxation, meditation, music, hypnosis, anything. It's just being open to trying different things. There you are. I don't want to bombard you with tips. You might have tried some of them. They might be new to you. It's just options, ideas, and things you can try. I really, sympathize, empathize with people that struggle with sleeping. It is difficult. So, yeah, today we're going to do some tapping to support you around some of that difficulty, to bring in some sort of feelings around what it would be like to get a good night's sleep. Yeah, so we'll do a bit of tapping. I'll introduce you to the points in case you're new. I just want to say as well, I think it's important to acknowledge sometimes there are other reasons that we're not sleeping very well. If it is an issue, an ongoing issue, you might want to speak to your GP or somebody. For example, it might be related to hormones. Different times in our life, our hormones can do different things that affect our sleep. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. Okay, hope you got some ideas and notes. So we're going to go into some emotional freedom technique tapping. I would just like to say with this, sometimes different sensations in the body can come up. Sometimes we feel different emotions, and sometimes these feel a bit more intense before they release. Just being aware that if at any point you feel a bit overwhelmed by a sensation, then I will welcome you to use a grounding exercise that we're going to begin with. So you are really taking responsibility for yourself. You know your body, you know yourself better than anybody else. I am here to offer some guidance around the tapping and what to say. But if at any point it feels a bit much, then you just bring yourself back to your body, back to the grounding, back to the room, and judge if you feel ready to continue. Okay, it's good to have some water nearby if you do, because EFT, you're going to be speaking a lot like me. Right, okay. So we start on the karate chop point, and it can be either hand. All of the points I do, they can be on either side of the body, it doesn't matter. And try not to worry about getting it right or wrong. It's really just about exploring these emotions, what they mean to you, and just giving this tapping a go. So we'll start on the karate chop point. Take a nice deep breath. And I'm going to invite you into this grounding exercise to begin, just to set us up so we feel nice, comfortable, and safe. And you can return to this at any point you need to. So if it's comfortable to do so, I invite you to close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath. Take a few nice deep breaths, and I encourage you to allow your out breath to be longer than your in breath. Just really let your body soften and relax. Just a few percent more as you breathe out, letting your shoulders relax. Beginning to turn your attention inwards, into your body, your internal world. For now, don't worry about what's going on out there. We're just focusing on the body. I'd like you to become aware of your feet, the soles of your feet. Imagining or noticing the contact between your feet and the ground. Noticing that grounding connection. Imagining nice thick roots connecting you, your feet, to the earth, to the ground. And it's like these thick roots are pulling you down. They're really strong and supportive, holding you in place. You can imagine those roots going down, down into the earth, connecting to the center, the core of the earth, absorbing some of that energy, coming all the way back up into the soles of your feet, up your legs, torso, body, head, inviting that balance, that feeling of grounding and balancing. Okay. So that's that place you can return to at any point. For now, I'd like you to just tune into your body and just consider any reactions, sensations, emotions in your body when we talk about sleep. So if I say, what does sleep feel like to you? What does it mean to you? What's your relationship with sleep? Are you worried that you can't sleep, that you won't sleep? And become aware of any sensations in your body. Just notice them, where they sit, what quality they have. You might give that a number of intensity, 10 being the highest, 0 being the lowest. Acknowledge it. Is there a colour, an image, a word, an emotion that comes up? Okay. We're going to see how we can get that number down if it's really high for you. We're going to see how this tapping can support you to shift up some of that blocked emotion in your body. Remembering that we're just meeting your body where it is. We're all going to have a unique experience. Just connecting with your body and what's going on for you. Okay. So I invite you to repeat after me. Even though sometimes I can't sleep, I worry about sleep. I wish I could sleep better. I hope I can sleep tonight. I feel tired. Right now, in this moment, I acknowledge this worry and that I wish I could sleep better, that it affects me in my life. I'm going to try to accept myself with all of these worries, even when I'm tired. I'm going to try and accept myself. Okay. Nice deep breath. Continue tapping this point on the side of your hand. Even though sometimes I can't sleep, doesn't matter what I do. I get into bed, I try to relax, and I just can't sleep. It's so frustrating. I wish I could get better sleep and wake up feeling rested, but I don't. And right now, I give myself permission to notice how difficult this is for me, to notice how much I wish it was different. But I'm going to try to accept myself even with this issue. I'm going to try. Okay, we'll do one more at this point. Nice deep breath. Even though, no matter what I do, it feels like I can't sleep. My head is full of thoughts. Sometimes I get to sleep, but then I wake up again. It's difficult. I wish I could feel more relaxed, more peaceful, and wake up feeling refreshed. But I wake up feeling tired, frustrated, and it affects my day. It affects how I show up in the world. Right now, in this moment, I really acknowledge these issues about sleep, how much it impacts my life, how much I wish it was different. And I'm going to try to accept these feelings, to accept myself with this issue as much as I can. Okay, tapping the top of the head. Nice deep breath. Can't sleep. Can't sleep. Okay, inner eyebrows, this point just here. I don't get as much sleep as I want. I don't get as much sleep as I want. Outer eyes, just on your temples. And I wake up feeling tired. I wake up feeling tired. Under the eyes. Wish I could get more sleep. Wish I could feel more rested. Under the nose. But I can't. Just can't get to sleep. Or I do, and then I wake up. Under the mouth. I just want to feel rested. Just want to relax. To sleep. Okay, there's a point here, just under your collarbone. So we're just tapping here. It's like a little soft point. You can do it with both hands, or you can do it across like this. Whatever feels good for you. Nice deep breath. Every night, I get into bed, hoping it will be different. It's just the same, I can't sleep. Or perhaps I sleep, but just not very well. It's frustrating. I'm exhausted. Okay, under the arm, it's just where your bra strap would be if you wore a bra. So just tapping the side, either side is fine. Nice deep breath. I'm tired of this. Just want a good night's sleep. Want to feel refreshed. Why do I have this issue? Okay, tapping across the wrist, again on either side, but just gently tapping here. Nice deep breath. Perhaps I've had this issue a long time. I'd like it to go away now. Just want to sleep better. Just want to feel better. But this is just the way it is. Okay, either side of the thumb. So the nail bed on your thumb, we're going to tap either side of that, and I'll say next, and we'll move on to the next finger. You can see that. Sorry, it's not very clear. There we go. Either side. Okay, so just repeating. I need more sleep. Next finger. I don't get enough sleep. Next. And I'm so frustrated. Next. Climb into bed. Next. But I don't sleep well. Okay, top of the head. I wish I could get more sleep. Wish I could get more sleep. Inner eyebrows. But I just feel tired. Frustrated and tired. Outer eyes. Imagine if I could sleep really well. What would that feel like? Under the eyes. But it doesn't matter because I don't sleep very well. Under the nose. But what if I could? What if I could sleep? Feel well rested. Underneath. But I can't. I just don't sleep very well. It's just a problem that I have. Okay, under the collarbone, both hands on one. It's so frustrating. Every night getting into bed and not being able to sleep, not the way I would like to. It's so frustrating. You can fill in this end bit with what word feels right for you. When I can't sleep, it makes me feel I really wish I could get more sleep, because if I could sleep better, perhaps I might feel. Okay, under the arm, either side, nice deep breath. I'm tired of feeling tired. Across the wrist. I'd like to invite a really good night's rest in. I'd like to invite a really good night's rest in. Either side of the thumb. Part of me doesn't think I can. Next. But part of me thinks maybe I can. Next. But part of me thinks that I won't. Next. But part of me thinks that maybe it could change and improve. Next. But part of me doesn't think it will. Okay, just rest for a moment. We will do some more tapping, but just take a nice deep breath. A glug of water if you've got some, tea, whatever's with you. And in your mind or on some paper, you could note down anything that came up for you. So sometimes when we're tapping, we might have some moments of clarity, some thoughts, some ideas might come through. Sometimes we get images, sometimes feelings and emotions. If you notice that you were feeling a particular way, then just note that to yourself or on paper and notice that scale. So whatever you started with before we started tapping, just tune into your body again. It's like building that bridge between your mind and your body and just seeing what it's showing you. Where is that number on the scale? And how does that compare to where it was before? Any sensations you noticed before? Any emotions? Have they moved? Are they the same? It's okay to not have any change. It's all perfect for you today. Sometimes we've had these issues for a long time, so things can take time to gently change and shift. But it's really good to create this space for the possibility of opening that door to a different way of feeling and being. Sometimes we get stuck in a routine, in a pattern, and it needs something to shift us out. So this could be what this session is for you today, possibly. Okay, so nice deep breath. I'm going to do some more tapping, and I want to share also some tapping with you to help you get a sense of what you could do in the middle of the night if you wake up. Karate chop point, either side is fine. Nice deep breath. Even though I struggle with my sleep sometimes, I would like to get more sleep, but part of me doesn't think I can. Part of me thinks that this is just the way it is. Right now, I notice this part. I acknowledge it. And I try to accept it as much as I can. To hear it. To support it. It's really difficult not being able to sleep. I try and have some compassion for that. Even though sometimes I struggle with sleep. And it's really frustrating. I just want to sleep better. To wake up feeling good, refreshed. In this moment, I give myself permission to acknowledge how much this is affecting me. Maybe it's more than I realised. And I'm going to try to send myself some compassion and support that part of me. I'm going to try to have compassion for it, for myself. Even though I struggle with sleep sometimes. I'm not sure how I'm going to sleep later. And part of me thinks I'll never get a good night's sleep. I know how it feels to wake up and to feel tired. In this moment, I acknowledge this struggle and just how much I want a good night's sleep. And I try to feel compassion, or at least to acknowledge this part of me that's really struggling with this. Perhaps there's another part that feels hopeful that it could change. Perhaps. Top of the head. Sometimes I really struggle with sleep. Struggle. Sleep. Inner eyebrows. Sleep is an issue for me. Sleep can be an issue. Outer eyes. But I'd like to invite in a really good night's sleep. I'd like a good night's sleep underneath. And even though part of me doesn't believe I can, and that part feels quite strong sometimes, under the nose, another part of me feels hopeful that I could sleep better, underneath the mouth. Another part of me feels hopeful that perhaps it could change and improve. Okay, under the collarbone. And what would that feel like? To be able to sleep better. Again, you can fill in this blank. If I could sleep better, I would feel maybe it is possible for me because just trust what comes to you. Try not to overthink it. If nothing comes, that's fine too. Okay, so repeating after me. I'd love to sleep better, to climb into bed and to relax, to drift off into dreams. Under the arm. I love that idea. Sinking into my duvet, feeling so relaxed, calm, getting a good night's sleep, tapping across the wrist. But part of me doesn't think I will. Part of me knows that I won't. Either side of the thumb. Because it's just a problem that I have. Next. I find it hard to sleep sometimes. Next. But part of me hopes that it will get better. Next. Part of me believes that maybe it could. Little finger. A lovely good night's sleep would set me up for the day. Set me up for the day. Top of the head. It would feel so good to get a good night's sleep. It would feel so good to have a good night's sleep. Inner eyebrows. But part of me doesn't think I can. And that makes me feel, complete that for you. Outer eyes. But maybe I could get a good night's sleep under the eyes. And I could wake up feeling, complete that sentence, under the nose. And if I woke up feeling, then my day would be different under the mouth. But part of me doesn't think I could. Part of me thinks that I won't sleep very well under the collarbone. So all of these worries are whirling around my head. Just can't switch off. I just can't switch off and relax. And is it any wonder? There's so much going on in life. Is it any wonder that I struggle to switch off and relax? No. Under the arm. Life can feel chaotic, and that affects my sleep sometimes. I have thoughts going round. I find it hard to relax sometimes, tapping the wrist. But I can also acknowledge there are times in my life when I do feel relaxed. I can acknowledge those times and remind myself, either side of the thumbnail. I'm worried about how I'm going to sleep later. Next. I hope I'll sleep better. Next. But I doubt it. Part of me doubts that I can. Next. But part of me hopes that I will. Next. But part of me still doubts that I will. Top of the head. I think this could work for somebody else, but it won't work for me. This could work for somebody else, but I don't think it's going to help me. Inner eyebrows. Because sleep is a bit of an issue. Sleep. Outer eyes. I would really like it to get better. I'd really like it to improve under the eyes. Maybe I can climb into the bed, under the duvet, and feel warm and safe under the nose. Maybe I can relax more. How nice would that be? To relax more into the mouth. Sometimes I might struggle, but maybe that's okay. Maybe I can take a moment and a breath and acknowledge that it's okay to struggle with sleep sometimes under the collarbone. To stop resisting it and fighting it, this issue that I have. Maybe I can soften and accept it a bit more. But it is frustrating to feel tired and wired. But perhaps I could soften instead of fighting it. I can't force myself to sleep under the arm. Oh yeah, that's true, isn't it? I can't force myself into sleep, into relaxation. Maybe there's another way, tapping across the wrist. Maybe there's another possibility that I haven't seen yet. Maybe I can soften and relax more and let sleep find me, either side of the thumb. So when I climb into bed later, I'll let sleep find me next. I'll notice how comfortable I feel in my bed, and I'll let sleep find me next. And if I have any worries or resistance, I'll notice that, and I'll let sleep find me next. And if I can't sleep, I'll try and find some compassion and soften and relax and let sleep find me, little finger. Maybe this will help. I think this could help. I think I might sleep better. And if I can't, that's okay too. So hold or tap the point. It's called the gamut point. It can be either hand. It's just in between your knuckle of your little finger and your ring finger. So just holding or tapping. Take a nice deep breath. And just repeat. I really hope I get a good night's sleep and wake up feeling wonderfully refreshed. Maybe there will be times when I struggle with sleep. I'm open to the possibility that there'll also be times when I get a better night's sleep and wake feeling rested. Okay, relax your hands, take a nice deep breath. Well done. So just tune in with the body, again, building that bridge of awareness to see what your body's showing you. So get curious about any sensations in your body and areas that you're holding. Have they moved? Have they changed? Sometimes energy moves. You might have started with feeling pressure in one area and it can move to another. It will be completely unique what you experience, but you are the one that can investigate it, can become aware of it. If you don't feel much or anything, that's okay. That's natural. We all have different ways of connecting with our body, and we haven't really been taught to connect with our body, so it's a practice. And if you don't feel much, then that's completely natural. There's nothing wrong with you, just to be clear. Okay, and become aware of anything that came up for you during that. Did you have any resistance to some of the things that we were saying? Did some of it feel really good to say? Be aware. Notice it in your mind, note it down. Something might come to you later. So it's just about getting curious. Sometimes with EFT, we have what's called a cognitive shift, and it's like something might come to us later or in the moment when your perspective just shifts and changes. Whilst we're tapping, the left side and the right side of the brain can come together more, and that can lead to some realizations that can be very helpful. It's about the unconscious, the conscious coming together, because a lot of the reasons that prevent us from sleeping might be unconscious. So we can move that and shift that. Okay, great. So next I want to help support you with some tapping to take away. So if you wake up in the night, which is something I go through occasionally, you can tap to help yourself with getting back to sleep. But the main thing I think that we touched on, just now in that tapping round script, is trying to notice where you're fighting and resisting and trying to force yourself into sleep, because we can't force ourselves to relax. So the more we can soften and allow ourselves to acknowledge the emotions, our feelings about our relationship with sleep, that moment when you really want to but you can't, the more we can acknowledge that and let it come up instead of pushing it down, the easier it will be for you to create a healthier relationship with sleep. Okay, so don't expect you to remember all these points if you're going to take it away and try it yourself. So my suggestion would be to choose a couple of them. If you can remember them, great. You have a better memory than me, because I know I wouldn't have at the start. But if you can choose a couple of them that you could focus on, then it will work. It will still work really well. Okay, so let's say you have gone to bed, maybe you've gone to sleep and then you've woken up and you really want to get back to sleep. Or perhaps you can sort of adjust this in a similar way in your own time and do it if you just can't get to sleep, just before you go to bed. So let's just start tapping the karate chop point. Even though I've woken up again, or I just feel like I'm not resting properly, like I'm not in a deep sleep, and I can't get back to sleep, no matter what I do. Frustrated. Right now, I acknowledge these feelings. I acknowledge that I'm frustrated, struggling, and I give this feeling some space. And I'm going to try and soften a little, relax my body just 1 or 2% into this feeling. Top of the head. I just want to get back to sleep. Just want to sleep. Inner eyebrows, but I can't. I can't sleep. Outer eye. I just want to sleep better. That's all I want. Under the eyes. But for some reason I can't. Now I'm wide awake under the nose. And the more I think about it, the more awake I feel. So awake under the mouth. Maybe if I relax a bit more, maybe if I soften my body, it will be easier to sleep. Across the collarbone. But what if it's not? It doesn't matter. I'm so frustrated. Can't sleep. But what if I could relax and believe that softening my body, that few percent, would make a difference, would help me sleep? What if I could consider that? Under the arm. I'm awake. So frustrating. Wide awake. I just want to feel relaxed and sleep. Other people can. Why can't I? Tapping across the wrist. Why can't I do this? But maybe if I let go a little. It's not easy though. Frustrated. But maybe I could soften just 1 or 2%. Maybe that could really help. Tapping the thumb. Yes, I am frustrated. Next. And I can't pretend I'm not. Next. But maybe I can notice. Next. All the ways that I'm comfortable. Next. Maybe I could notice. Okay, holding this point or tapping this point, gamut point between the knuckles. Maybe I could notice all the ways that I am comfortable and that 1 or 2% that I can soften and relax and welcome in sleep a little bit more. Nice deep breath. Okay, so I just wanted to share that with you just as a bit of inspiration about what you could do if you have a point in the night and you wake up and you are just wide awake, ding, and you can't get back to sleep. So don't worry about saying what I said. It's about what feels right and true to you. So just tap on 1, 2 of those points. And it's about, so the real key philosophy to remember is it's about noting how you feel in your body and what emotions and feelings come up for you if you're laying there in bed. Notice those. Notice where they sit in your body if you can. And then tap and simply acknowledge them. So you can just keep it really simple. You could just say, and you can say it in your head if you don't want to wake somebody else up. You can just say, even though I'm so frustrated I can't sleep, and I feel it in my body, right now, I acknowledge this feeling. And I try and have compassion for myself. Something like that, the acceptance and then the compassion. So even though I'm lying here wide awake, can't sleep, wish I could, right now, I notice that. I don't even try and change it. I just notice how I feel. Something like that, where you have the acknowledging, meeting yourself where you are in that point, in that moment, and then bring in the piece of a bit more acceptance, a bit more compassion for yourself if you can. Can't force it, you know, it has to feel true to you. Okay. So we're nearly drawing to a close, but I still want to share a little bit more with you to really support you specifically tonight. So I want to also make you aware that with EFT, when energy begins to move, sometimes we feel those shifts in energy. They might also happen in terms you might be yawning, or sometimes people cry. That's very natural. It's a release. All of these are really good releases. Sometimes people laugh or smile. Sometimes people sneeze. Any shifts come through. Sometimes people burp. Anything goes, and it's all natural, and it's all good signs that energy's moving. Yeah, so let's do just a quick round before we close the session to support you for later, for going to sleep. Okay, so karate chop point. I think you're getting familiar and more confident with the points now. Nice deep breath. It's important that we keep doing those nice deep breaths as we tap to help the energy circulate. Even though sometimes I can't sleep, sometimes it's a struggle. Right now, I give myself permission to enjoy getting into bed more, sinking into the duvet inviting the possibility of a good night's sleep. Maybe that's possible. Even though I doubt it, part of me believes that it could be possible. Part of me feels hopeful right now. And I acknowledge these parts. And maybe they can become closer together, top of the head. When I climb into bed later and try to relax inner eyebrows, I remind myself to soften 1 or 2% outer eyes, and that part of me that worries I won't sleep underneath. I'm going to speak to that part and tell it that I believe we can under the nose. I'm going to have compassion for that part and remind it of the comfortable duvet, the mattress supporting us into the mouth. And even though sometimes I struggle to sleep, tonight it might be different. Tapping under the collarbone. Could it be different? What would that be like? Climbing into the duvet, noticing how it feels, feeling grateful for the comfort. A good night's sleep. What might that feel like? Under the arm. Part of me doubts it, but part of me believes it. Part of me doubts it, part of me invites it in. Tapping across the wrist. There's a lot of things that I've struggled with in my life, and lots of things that have improved. Maybe this could be one of those. Maybe this could be one of those things that improves either side of the thumb. And when I climb into bed later, next, and sink into the duvet, next. Maybe I feel good, rested, next. Softening my body, 1 or 2%, next. And inviting in a good night's sleep. Hold that gamut point, either hand, just in between the little finger and the ring finger knuckle. Nice deep breath. I'm opening to the possibility, even if it's just a tiny bit, of a better night's sleep. I'm opening to that possibility that this could improve for me, and acknowledge the different parts. It's okay that there's a part that struggles with sleep. Open to the possibility that this could improve for me. Okay, relax your hands, nice deep breath. Well done. If you stayed with all of that tapping, well done, because we did a few rounds there. And just be aware that sometimes we can have shifts later, energy shifts, thought shifts, and sometimes we can feel tired. You might not. You might feel energy, lightness, whatever you feel. It's completely natural and perfect for you. But please, just be aware of that. So go gently, drink plenty of water, be really gentle with yourself. Obviously, I hope that you get a good night's sleep tonight, and I hope this has supported you to acknowledge, if it is an issue for you, that that's okay. It's an issue for a lot of people, and there are ways that we can support ourselves and improve it. So see what changes you can make from those good sleep hygiene suggestions and tips that I offered. Hopefully there's something in there, if not one thing, if not more, that you can use and explore. So see how you go. Perfect. Thanks so much for joining me. And I'd love to hear your comments. I can see people have already left comments, but I'd love to hear how you got on. And just let us know if you experienced any changes or anything came through for you. Continue to explore your relationship with sleep and how you can improve it. Great. Thanks so much. I've enjoyed this session, and I think I'm going to sleep better later on. Take good care of yourself. Remember, you've got that grounding exercise, feeling your feet and your roots. That will really support you as well if you're finding anything is a bit stressful around this relationship and these ideas about sleep. Okay, keep up those journaling as well. Journaling before you go to bed is a really useful thing. Good. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope that is a nice restful one. Bye for now.